All right, get ready to dive into, well, a deep dive. We're heading to the Maldives. You know, those turquoise waters, those overwater bungalows. We're unpacking it all, making sure your dream trip is actually unforgettable.
You know, it's interesting because the Maldives, it's really built on coral. Over 1,000 coral islands.
Wow.
It's the flattest country on Earth. It's like, imagine a string of pearls across the Indian Ocean.
Okay, yeah, I'm picturing it. Pretty breathtaking.
Yeah.
But there's this whole thing about the Maldives only being for, millionaires and billionaires. That's not true, is it?
Not at all. I mean, yeah, the Maldives is known for luxury, but there's a whole other side to it.
Right.
You've got charming guest houses, local food, all kinds of budgets can enjoy it.
So it really is about tailoring the experience, finding that perfect fit.
Absolutely.
Okay, but let's back up a sec. When's the best time to actually head to this paradise?
All right, so you've got two main seasons, dry and wet. Dry season, that's December to April. That's what you see on all the postcards. Yeah. Crystal clear water, perfect for snorkeling and diving.
Like that classic Maldives we see on Instagram, right?
Exactly.
All right. So what about the wet season? Total washout.
No, not at all. Wet season, May to November, that's surfer's paradise. You might get a little rain, but you'll probably find some good deals too.
Less crowded, yeah?
Fewer crowds.
Okay. So no matter when you go, Maldives got something going on. But here's a fascinating thing I found while prepping for this deep dive. The Maldives is actually planning to relocate because of rising sea levels. The entire population.
Yeah, it's a stark reality, isn't it? This paradise is facing real threats from climate change, which makes experiencing it all the more important.
Yeah, it really makes you think. Okay, so we know when to go, but where do we even start in this vast island nation?
Well, Malé, the capital, that's a vibrant hub you don't want to miss. Picture this. A city where the Grand Friday Mosque, which holds 5,000 worshippers, is a major landmark, but no building is allowed to be taller than a palm tree.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That's incredible. What's it like?
Well, you've got the National Museum, bustling markets. It's a cultural immersion.
Okay, so we hit Malé, but then we want that classic Maldivian beach, right? White sand, turquoise water.
Oh, absolutely. Hulu Malé Beach, it's right there, near Malé. Picture perfect.
All right, got it. But the Maldives is also about those atolls, right? What are some we can't miss?
Oh, definitely. If you're an underwater adventurer, Ari Atoll is calling. It's known for encounters with whale sharks and manta rays.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that's bucket list material right there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What if you're just fascinated by the variety of marine life? Like just blown away by all the different species?
Then you've got to check out the Bon Atoll. It's a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. The biodiversity is just astounding.
I am hooked. So let's get into that 7-day itinerary. Give our listener a taste of everything.
Okay, think of this as a starting point. Days 1 and 2, arrival and acclimation. Luxury resort if that's your style, or a charming guest house. Either way, ease into island time. Snorkeling, beach lounging, sunset cruise.
Perfect. Okay, days 3 and 4.
Let's hit Malé. We talked about that Grand Friday Mosque, the National Museum, maybe lose ourselves in the markets.
It smells like spices and seafood already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, days 5 and 6, we're going underwater, right? Exploring those reefs you talked about.
Absolutely. Time for some snorkeling and diving? Imagine. Colorful fish, graceful rays, maybe even a sea turtle or two.
I mean, it's like swimming in a National Geographic documentary.
Exactly.
Amazing. Okay, we've got the capital, we've got the marine life. What's next?
Island hopping. Days 7 and 8, we're checking out Hulu Malé, Vilangili. Each island's got its own vibe. We're talking picnics on pristine beaches, exploring local villages, seeing the Maldives beyond the resorts.
That authentic local experience, love it. And for the last couple of days of the trip.
All right, days 9 and 10, it's adventure time. Surfing lessons, parasailing, maybe even a visit to a marine conservation center.
Nice. Tying in those sustainability efforts you mentioned. This is what I love about the Maldives. Relaxing, ADD, adventurous. But let's be real. A lot of people think it'd have to be a super expensive vacation. How do we do this without going broke?
It's all about smart choices. Ditch the fancy resorts, think guest houses, hostels. Book in advance, use those travel platforms like Agoda, Expedia.
Okay, good tips and food, right. Resort restaurants can add up fast. How do we eat well without spending a fortune?
Local places are your friend, great value, authentic flavors. You can try places like Sea House Restaurant in Malé, delicious fresh fish, way cheaper than a resort.
Okay, that's a good starting point. But we've got to try some traditional Maldivian dishes, right? What are those, and where do we find them?
Oh, for breakfast, Maafushi is a must. Tuna, coconut, onion, chili, all blended up. You'll find it at most local cafes for just a few dollars.
Okay, that sounds amazing. What about lunch or dinner? Where do we go for those?
For lunch, garudia, that's a flavorful fish soup, a real staple. And for dinner, bamboo kelu, a delicious curry made with bamboo shoots. Check out places like Royal Garden Cafe for these. You're looking at maybe $10, $20 a meal.
Way better than resort prices.
Much better.
All right, food's sorted. What about transportation? Island hopping has to be tricky.
It can be. Public ferries are your best bet if you're on a budget. They connect a lot of the main islands, super affordable. For those quick trips, shared speedboats are good value, especially with a group.
Ferries for budget, speedboats for speed. Got it. But what about those dooney boats? Are those just for tourists?
Oh no, dooney boats are a way of life in the Maldives. It's a true experience.
Yeah.
You're sailing through the islands, the wind in your hair, the sun on your face, surrounded by that beauty. It's truly special.
It's like something out of a movie. Okay, so we've got the essentials, but what about activities? Can we enjoy all the underwater stuff without spending a fortune?
Definitely. While resorts offer those fancy excursions, you can find amazing snorkeling and diving with local operators at a much lower price.
Okay, good to know.
And don't forget those simple pleasures, exploring local islands, playing beach volleyball, building sand castles. All free. Those moments are pure joy.
Exactly. It's all about connecting with nature. Before we move on, let's talk a little about Maldivian culture. What should our listener know before they go?
The Maldives is a Muslim country, so respectful travel is key. Dress modestly. Be mindful of local customs, especially when visiting local islands or religious sites.
Makes sense. What about the language? Do we need to learn Divi?
Divi is the official language, but English is widely spoken, especially in touristy areas. Learning a few basic Divi phrases like greetings and thank you is a great way to show respect.
Little things go a long way.
Absolutely.
Now, we can't talk Maldives without talking food. We've touched on some must-try dishes, but what else should we add to our culinary bucket list?
Oh, there's so much. You've got fresh catches everywhere, tuna, lobster, crab. Beyond that, so many traditional dishes. We mentioned Maafushi and garudia, but bamboo kilu, that bamboo shoot curry, is amazing too.
All right, that's on the list. What about drinks? What do the locals drink?
Fresh coconut water is a staple, super refreshing. You'll also find various fruit juices, smoothies, and traditional Maldivian tea, often spiced with cardamom and ginger.
Sounds perfect after a day in the sun.
Hmm.
Before we wrap up this first part of our dive, there's this fun fact I have to share.
All right, I'm listening.
Did you know that in the Maldives, Friday is the holy day? So the weekend is Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's interesting. Good to know when planning your trip.
Absolutely. So, we've covered a lot. Best time to visit, must-see sites, how to experience it all on a budget. There's still so much more to discover, though.
Definitely. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into those underwater wonders, talk about responsible travel, and really dive into Maldivian culture.
So stay tuned, folks. The adventure continues.
Welcome back to our Maldivian adventure. Ready for more?
Absolutely. I'm already picturing myself swimming with those manta rays, exploring the coral reefs. But before we get lost underwater, I'm kind of curious about the history of these islands. You know, what shaped the Maldives we see today?
Oh, the Maldives has a rich history. It goes back centuries. You might be surprised to learn that they were originally inhabited by Buddhists.
Really? I always think of the Maldives as, Muslim.
Oh, you're right. It's predominantly Muslim now, but the history is really interesting. Islam arrived around the 12th century, and it's been mostly Muslim ever since. But you can still find traces of that Buddhist past. It adds this whole other layer to their culture.
So we have Buddhism, then Islam. Any other major influences we should know about?
Well, the Maldives was actually a British protectorate for a while, almost 80 years, late 19th to mid-20th century. That left its mark, especially on things like governance and administration.
Interesting. So did that colonial period impact their path to independence?
Absolutely. It was a long and complicated journey, but in 1965, they finally gained independence. Huge moment in their history.
I bet. So we've got this mix of Buddhist, Islamic, and British influences shaping the Maldives today. It makes you appreciate their culture even more.
It really does. You see it in everything. Their traditions, their art, their architecture, their food. Speaking of architecture, you mentioned earlier that there are no skyscrapers in the Maldives.
Right. Why is that? Seems kind of unique for an island nation, right?
There's a reason for that. Building height is actually restricted to protect the island's natural beauty. No building can be taller than the tallest palm tree. They want the landscape to be dominated by nature.
Wow, that's really cool. Shows how committed they are to preserving their environment, their way of life.
Absolutely. That respect for nature is a huge part of Maldivian culture. They get it, you know?
Yeah.
Their existence is tied to the health of their environment.
Speaking of their environment, let's talk about the Maldives geography for a sec. You mentioned it's the flattest country on Earth. What else makes it so unique?
Well, it's 99% water. Think about that. It's a collection of these tiny coral islands spread across the Indian Ocean.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Really puts things in perspective. And we're talking over 1,000 islands, right?
That's right. And those islands are actually clustered into 26 atolls.
Okay, atolls. I've heard that term before, but remind me, what exactly are they, and why are they so important to the Maldives?
Okay, picture a ring-shaped coral reef that encloses a lagoon. That's an atoll. They're formed over thousands of years from the skeletons of these tiny creatures called corals.
So each atoll is like its own mini ecosystem,
Good.
full of marine life.
You got it. And
That's-
the Maldives has some of the most diverse and vibrant coral reefs in the world.
That's why I'm so excited to see the underwater world there. It's a diver's paradise, right?
Oh, absolutely. And even if you're not diving, the snorkeling is incredible. Imagine those colorful reefs, all those fish. It's breathtaking. Oh, and for those who like a little mystery, you've got shipwrecks scattered across the ocean floor. They become artificial reefs, attract all kinds of marine life. It's like exploring an underwater museum.
That sounds awesome. I'm adding that to my list. But amidst all this beauty, there's a serious side to the Maldives, right? We've talked about those environmental challenges they're facing.
Yeah, unfortunately, climate change is a huge threat, rising sea levels, more intense storms. It puts the very existence of these islands at risk.
It's heartbreaking to think about. It makes you realize how fragile these places really are.
It does. That's why the Maldives is actually leading the way in sustainability. They're working hard to reduce their carbon footprint, protect those marine ecosystems, and adapt to the changing climate.
Yeah, I read that they're aiming to be carbon neutral by 2030.
That's right.
That's ambitious, but it's inspiring to see them taking those steps.
It really is. You see a lot of resorts powered by solar energy now, and that there's a big emphasis on marine conservation projects. It reminds us that we can all play a part in protecting these places.
So we've covered history, culture, geography, even the environmental challenges. It feels like we're getting a good sense of what makes the Maldives so unique.
We're just getting started. A big draw for a lot of travelers is the experience of those resorts. They're more than just places to stay. They're destinations in themselves.
I've seen pictures of those overwater bungalows. You know, those ones perched above the turquoise water. Ultimate bucket list goal.
They are amazing.
But are those just for the super rich? Because that's not really our listeners' style.
No, not at all. Some resorts are definitely luxury focused, but there are options for those on a tighter budget. And remember, even if an overwater bungalow isn't in the cards, you can still enjoy those incredible beaches and the underwater world without breaking the bank.
Good to know. So let's say we are picturing ourselves at one of these resorts, whether it's super fancy or more laid back. What can we expect? What kind of amenities and activities do they usually offer?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. You'll usually find multiple restaurants with all kinds of cuisines, plus bars and lounges where you can relax with a drink, soak in those ocean views.
Sounds like paradise.
It really is.
And what about activities? Besides, lounging on the beach or snorkeling, what else can you do?
Many resorts offer a ton of water sports. Jet skiing, windsurfing, parasailing, kayaking. You can also go on diving excursions, fishing trips, dolphin watching tours, sunset cruises. The list goes on.
And I bet they have incredible spas. Imagine getting a massage with the sound of the ocean in the background.
Absolutely. A lot of resorts have world-class spas. They offer all sorts of treatments and wellness programs. It's the perfect way to unwind and just really relax.
Okay, I'm convinced. So we've got luxurious resorts, amazing water activities, top-notch spas. What else makes the Maldives such a special place to visit?
Let's not forget about the hospitality. It's truly exceptional. Maldivian people are known for their warmth and friendliness. You'll feel welcomed and cared for from the moment you arrive. It makes the whole experience so much better.
That's what you want on vacation, right?
Absolutely.
So it sounds like the Maldives really does offer that perfect mix of relaxation, adventure, and cultural immersion.
It does. It's a destination that appeals to all sorts of travelers, whether you're on a romantic getaway, a family trip, a solo adventure, or traveling with friends.
Amazing. It's incredible how much this destination has to offer. So we've covered a lot of ground in this second part. History, geography, even those luxury resorts.
And we're not done yet. In the final part, we'll share some practical tips and advice for planning your perfect Maldivian getaway. Whether you're on a tight budget or looking to splurge, We've got you covered.
So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with more Maldives magic. Okay, we're back, and it's time to make those Maldivian dreams a reality. We've covered history, culture, those underwater wonders. And let's get practical. How do we actually plan this trip?
Let's do it. We'll give you all the tools you need to create that perfect Maldivian getaway.
Awesome. So how do we even get there? What's the entry point?
Well, your gateway is Valana International Airport. It's on Hulhul Island, right next to Malé, the capital.
Okay.
You can find direct flights from major cities all over the world, but remember, prices can change depending on the season.
Good point. So we land in Malé, excited to start exploring. How do we get to our island? Is there a Maldivian Uber?
Not quite Uber, but just as cool. Transportation in the Maldives is all about the water. We're talking speedboats, seaplanes, even those traditional dhonie boats.
Dhonie boats, yeah. Okay, I can picture myself in a seaplane soaring over that turquoise water. But let's be real, our listeners on a budget. What's the most affordable way to island hop?
Public ferries are your best friend, especially for islands near Malé. They're super cheap and a great way to see the scenery. Speedboats are faster but pricier, especially if you're traveling solo.
Ferries for budget, speedboats for speed. Got it. But those dhonie boats, they sound so charming. Are those just for tourists, or do locals use them too?
Oh, dhonie boats are a way of life there. Locals use them all the time. It's a truly authentic way to experience the islands.
Yeah, I bet. All right, money matters. What's the currency, and can we use U.S. dollars?
The official currency is the Maldivian rupiah, but U.S. dollars are widely accepted, especially at resorts and in tourist areas. You can find ATMs at the airport and in Malé, but it's always good to have some local currency, just in case.
Smart. Okay, now the fun stuff. We talked about that 7-day itinerary. How do we make sure we get the right balance of relaxation and adventure?
Okay, let's break it down. Day 1. You arrive, get to your island, and just breathe. Let that beauty sink in. Take a swim, relax on the beach, maybe enjoy a welcome drink as the sun sets. Ease into that Maldivian rhythm.
Perfect way to de-stress after that flight.
Exactly.
Okay, day 2, time to ramp things up.
Day 2, it's all about the underwater world. Snorkeling, diving, swimming with those manta rays, experiencing that magical marine life.
I'm grabbing my snorkel and fins. Day 3, what's next?
Let's switch gears. How about a day trip to Malé? We'll check out the Grand Friday Mosque, explore those local markets, experience the city's vibe. It's a totally different world from those quiet islands.
I can already smell those spices and see all those vibrant colors.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, day 4, back to the beaches.
Absolutely. Let's head to Hulu Malé, that picture-perfect island we mentioned. Short ferry ride from Malé. Classic white sand, turquoise water.
Sounds like the perfect place to relax, swim, soak up some sun, maybe grab some lunch at a beachside cafe.
Perfect plan.
Day 5, we're island hopping, right?
You got it. So many islands to explore, each with its own unique charm.
Okay, this is where it gets tough. So many islands, so little time. Any favorites you recommend?
If you want that laid-back island vibe, check out Vilangili. It's a local island with a beautiful beach, super friendly people, some great guest houses and restaurants. If you're feeling luxurious, you could head to a private island resort. Places like Coco Island or Landajervaru are incredible.
See, this is why we need a month in the Maldives, not just a week.
Yeah, no, right?
Right, days 6 and 7. How do we end this trip on a high note?
Let's mix it up. Relaxation and a final dose of adventure. Day 6, how about a dolphin watching tour? Or we could try some fishing. The Maldives is famous for its marine life. It's a great way to experience it up close.
I love that idea. And for our grand finale, day 7.
Day 7, savor those last moments. Enjoy a lahong breakfast, one last swim in the ocean, maybe even treat yourself to a spa treatment before heading home. Leave feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and full of Maldivian magic.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, itinerary set. But what about those little things that can make or break a trip? Any packing tips for our listener?
Packing for the Maldives is all about that tropical climate. Lightweight clothes, swimwear, a hat, sunglasses, and reef-safe sunscreen are key. Oh, and bring a reusable water bottle. Stay hydrated and help the environment.
Important points. We want to be responsible travelers, right? Anything else we shouldn't forget?
A waterproof bag is a good idea. For your phone, valuables.
Yeah.
You'll be around water a lot. And maybe pack a small first aid kit, just in case.
Great tips. What about the language? Will we be okay communicating with the locals?
English is pretty widely spoken, especially in the tourist spots. But as we said earlier, learning a few basic DV phrases can go a long way. Even a simple hello or thank you in their language can make a big difference.
It shows you care.
It does.
Okay, last question before we wrap up this amazing deep dive. What's one thing our listener absolutely have to experience in the Maldives, no matter their budget? What's that one quintessential Maldivian moment?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But I have to say, watching the sunset over the Indian Ocean, it's something you'll never forget. Find a quiet spot on the beach, maybe with a drink in hand, and just soak it all in. It's pure magic. It captures the essence of the Maldives.
Beautiful. Well, there you have it. We've explored the Maldives inside and out, the history, the geography, those incredible resorts, the underwater wonders. We've given you the tools to plan your own adventure, no matter your budget.
The Maldives truly is a paradise, a place to escape and connect with the beauty of nature.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to add this amazing destination to your bucket list. It's a place that will stay with you long after you've left.
And remember, the Maldives is waiting to be explored. Budget traveler or luxury seeker, the magic of these islands is for everyone.
Go make those memories. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Till next time, happy travels.